Shalom. Baruch haba, Koram Lee Anthony. Hello and welcome. They call me Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us here at Sarid for our weekly Torah teaching on the coming of Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach. We are so excited for him. If I could take a minute, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and esteem to Yahuwah Elohim for the great wisdom and understanding in his word he has given us to share with you. To the Kodashim out there, I want to thank you so much for your comments, for your support. If you have not already, please subscribe. As we pick up from last week, Yehuda Ishkiryah had a problem with the oil used to anoint the feet of Adonai Yahushua. He had a problem lifting up a teruma, saying thank you to Yahuwah for Adonai Yahushua raising Elazar, who had been dead. He died, and there was much sorrow. They had a funeral and put him away, and he was dead for 4 days. Then Yahushua shows up, speaks about the esteem of Yahuwah, and then raised Elazar from the dead. Called him by name. Then to say thank you, they were gathered for a supper of celebration. We all lifted up a contribution to Yahuwah as them in the lines of survey. As read the tenth which I have given you from them as your inheritance, and you shall offer a teruma of it to Yahuwah. So now it's Moshe's turn for his teruma, as he gives his tenth, his take on Ishkiryah, to tell us what's going on with him and why he had such a problem with the gift given to Yahushua. So we want to hear what Moshe has to say. So let's tune in. We will begin in the wilderness at Bimidbar, chapter 18, verse 27, followed by the Adut and Devarim, chapter 29, verse 2, followed by the witness of Yochanan. Chapter 12, we'll be looking at 6 through 8. And your teruma shall be reckoned to you. Now Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them, this he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the money box and used to take what was put in it. So here we pick up from last week when everyone lifted up a teruma to Yahuwah concerning the fragrant oil used to anoint the feet of Yahushua. Everyone involved was to give their take on the account. A teruma, the tenth of the tenth. So last week things got tested. And as we begin here, and your teruma, your praise to Yahuwah, shall be reckoned to you. This person is the one they are reckoning about down below in Yochanan. Yehuda Ishkiryah. They're talking about him because he was trying to spoil the victory party given to Yahushua from last week. Kashab, the word for reckon, means to think and plan, to esteem, to calculate in order to make a judgment. In order to make a judgment on, to imagine and count. And then it declares, now Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them. Moshe, whose name means drawn. So what is drawn is speaking down below in Yochanan. This is done to make a judgment. Judgment on the statement Ishkiryah made, And Moshe records, he sets the record straight as the written account speaks down in Yochanan, saying, this he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the money box, and he used to take what was put in it. Imagine that. He was a thief and a liar. Okay? This is something that had not existed before in the account of this witness. He was thinking and planning on how to get the money without having to work for it. Imagine that. So it's fair to reckon that Moshe is telling it like it is. And that's the way it was. And Yahuwah declares he was telling it as though it were the grain on the threshing floor. The word for grain, dagon, is wheat or cereal, or corn. The verb means to increase. So this is continuation from the survey lines above. More reckoning, So Moshe himself checks this dude way back before it even happened. And it'll be seen in the statement down below in Yochanan as he continues to address this Aramaic dude. He thinks he's exalted over everyone else. So Moshe continues over in Devarim. He declares, "You have seen all that Yahuwah did before your eyes in the land of Mitsrayim." And this statement by Moshe and Devarim was spoken with conviction. Ishkiah knew about the blind man who received his sight by Yahushua, and the dead man who was raised from the dead, besides everything else that was done by Yahushua in the days of Mitzrayim. Now here's something else reckoned to Yahushua and hidden until now. It is found in this statement by Moshe. You have seen Aleph Tah. The mark of the accusative is right here after seen. No hyphens. You have seen Aleph Tah. Period. All that Yahuwah did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim. Yahushua executed every miracle and good thing. All to the praise of Yahuwah. And this fool best be leaving up out of here before something bad happens to him. This is a spiritual occurrence, but they're getting ready to wipe the floor with this guy. This word for threshing floor, H1637, goren, is from a root meaning to smooth, as in smooth over. Set things in order. Straighten it out. Separation of the wheat from the chaff. Chaff gets burned. So over in Yochanan, but Yahushua said, let her alone. She has kept this for the day of my burial. So he mad too. Yahushua said, let her alone. Yeah, he didn't say it. That's just what I was thinking. He might have said something else like that. Knowing these Christians, they probably omitted it. This is the threshing floor. It's no place to be nice. It's not a time to be nice here. Let her alone. And he didn't say please. She has kept this for the day of my burial. So yeah, he's going to get dealt with in a very special way here. A special threshing, if you will. Because Yahushua has to step in and check this fool trying to be slick. Right now, we're going to check this footnote. Okay, this footnote declares, put the footnote on the screen. NU text reads, that she may keep. So let's go ahead and stomp them right now. They are them too. The NU, these are some Christian people who have not understood anything that they believe in. The NU, with this footnote at the wrong time. So let's see what they have not understood now. Let's read the sentence the way that they are teaching Christians. Let her alone that she may keep this for the day of my burial. So now what sense does this make? She's putting the oil on his feet right now in the story. So she's not keeping it for later. she's putting it on his feet. Once the oil is on him, she no longer has it to keep. Why wait till he's dead and put it on dead feet? The day of his burial is something that had not happened yet. She kept this as a gift to go with the supper. It was his inheritance given to him from Yahuwah. If you line it up with the Torah, you would know that. So the question is, do we use the word keep or kept? The word in question is G5083, tereo. Tereo means to attend to carefully, to guard, to take care of. She did that by putting the oil on with her hair. She put it on his feet with her hair. She took care and did it carefully. She guarded it by using her hair. Okay, so no one else could help out. Now this word has a root word associated with it that means to watch, to be a spectator, to look at, behold, means to see and perceive with the eye. It also means to enjoy the presence of one. Again, she put the oil on his feet with her hair. She was watching the whole time she was doing it. She couldn't get any closer to see it. She didn't keep it to herself. She kept it as a gift to give to him right now. He came along to get it with the supper, a praise of thanksgiving for what he has done and was about to do. It was a teruma, a contribution, an inheritance to Yahushua. Can't draw a better picture. Although you may have to for Christianity, because they're not reading this thing right. They gave him the flowers while he was still living, if you will, to finish threshing the floor with them guys. And as the witness of the winepress, the fullness of the winepress, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. And he declares, for the poor you have with you always, but me you do not have always. And as the fullness here, malah, that word for fullness, is that which fills, the abundance, accomplished and ended. The fullness is seen in Devarim as Pharaoh. Pharaoh, meaning the great house. This is religion, Christianity in particular, because of the constricting grip of influence it has on every other religion out there, bar none Judaism. Pharaoh and all his servants and all his land are lumped together down in Yochanan. They are seen as poor. Poor, G4434, Tochas. Tochas means destitute of the virtues of everlasting riches, lacking in respects to the spirit, helpless, destitute of the wealth of learning and intellectual culture which allow men to lay hold of the everlasting treasure. It's the definition of poor there. So the great house is full of them. They poor, dumb, and blind. Yahushua says they're going to be around always, or you have with you always. He was right. There's probably one near you now. Religion and religious people in all the land, the fullness of the winepress. Okay, the fullness of the winepress. That's all the land there. Yakeb means winepress. It is from an unused root meaning to excavate. Dig out material from something. To extract material or remove it carefully. Reading the definition for excavate here. To remove it carefully and systematically from an area in order to find buried remains. This is seen in Yochanan when it says, "But me you do not have always." He is what is extracted out of every religious concept out there in the land. Yahushua embodies everlasting life. The winepress is a place of wrath. If you think for 1 minute the people who have stolen the praise of Yahuwah and have gotten away with it, you need only to see how the word itself is speaking, although the people are not visible. It's testifying here. Yahushua checked him, or Moshe checked him before he was born, and everybody that came along like him, checked them all. Ishkir Yah, wicked men in the city. The Midbar 28 or 18 will begin in verse 28. Followed by Devarim and the witness over in Yochanan. Thus you shall also offer a terumah to Yahuwah of all your tenth, which you receive from Bnei Yisrael. And Moshe does the great trials which your eyes have seen. Now a great many of the Yuta knew that he was there, and they came, not for Yahushua's sake only. Thus you shall also offer a terumah to Yahuwah from all your tenth. Esser, the richness here, means to enrich oneself, to become rich. Talking about the riches of everlasting life. Chayim Olam. So everyone is giving a terumah or a contribution of praise to Yahuwah, the tenth of it. And Yahuwah here appears to be speaking to Yochanan as he gives this narrative concerning the contribution of praise to Yahuwah of this account and the richness here and that you receive from Bnei Yisrael. What he saw. And he records, now a great many of the Yuta knew that he was there, and they came not for Yahushua's sake only. So this is only part of the tenth, not all of it, which is to come here. This part of the tenth is dealing with what Moshe is declaring to the original people as the great trials, which your eyes have seen. Yochanan is of Hebrew origin. That word for trials, H4531, Masah, means a test of despair, a testing and proving trial. The verb means to put to the test. Also, to put to the proof, to prove. With your eyes, ayin, this is indicative of spiritual and mental understanding. Have seen, ra'ah. They saw it, inspected it, learned about it, and gave attention to it. The trials were great, gadol, high things of importance, great importance. They were distinguished. The verb means to magnify and make powerful. If the thing wasn't, with the blind man wasn't enough, seeing the dead come back to life after a funeral is enough to get everybody on their feet, either by fear or, in this case, curious rejoicing. They were trials of proof seen by the eyes of Bnei Yisrael, a terumah, to Yahuwah from all your tenth. And you shall give Yahuwah's teruma from it to Aharon the Cohen. The signs and those great wonders, but that they might also see Alazar, whom he had raised from the dead. And you shall give Yahuwah's teruma from it. This is the rest of the tenth, the praise of contribution to Yahuwah. The mark of the accusative is on the teruma and the everlasting life associated with it. This teruma is seen as the signs in Devarim. This is the mark of the accusative, that word for signs there. H226 is oak. It is a distinguishing mark, a banner of remembrance, a miraculous sign, a warning with proof, a miracle. The root is used in the sense of appearing, and it means to consent and agree. This sign is Yahuwah's oath of promise. He consented to it by sending Yahushua, who appeared in the flesh, to agree with that oath as the Aleph Tah, along with Alazar. The mark of the accusative in the Midbar was on the teruma, and the definition for the word for signs, oath, is the mark of the accusative. Is the mark of the accusative. As it reads, but that they might also see Alazar. He appeared too. It was an oath. It was written here as those great wonders. Mofet is a wonder or a miracle, a token of a future event as a special display of Yahuwah Elohim's power. So this is going to happen again. So this is seen in Yochanan as whom he had raised from the dead. So this raising from the dead is going to happen again. Of course, we know this over in Chazon. Revelation speaks of that. Yahushua first gave esteem to Yahuwah before doing that great wonder concerning Alazar, whom he raised from the dead, as it reads down in Yochanan. The promise is written right here in the Midbar for the Cohen to do. The tent was to be given to Aharon the Cohen. Aharon, the light bringer of witnessing before Yahuwah. Alazar was the ben of Aharon. And Yahushua is truly the light bringer. And the mantle of Kohen Hagadol is being transferred and magnified right here in the story, according to the written account that I'm showing you here now. This is an oath lined up and revealed right here in the wilderness, in the Midbar, chapter 18, according to every word. Now, because of the length of the verses in this next frame, we're going to have to survey this one over in another frame. Okay. So, let me scroll down here. Of all your gifts, you shall offer up every teruma due to Yahuwah. Yet Yahuwah has not given you a heart to perceive. But the chief Kohanim plotted to put Eleazar to death also, because on account of him, many of the Yuta went away and believed in Yahushua. Okay, as we start here, all of your gifts, H4976, Matan or Matan is an offering, a present. Your here are both the true seed of Yisrael down in Devarim, seed by semen, and the ones Moshe is talking to. And also the seed of Metonymy down below in Yochanan, seen as the Yuta. These are not the original people, just someone filling in. This is noting a difference, all your gifts. So notice this, of all your gifts you shall offer up Aleph Tah. Here the mark of the accusative is singled out in the verse. You shall offer up Aleph Tah. This is Yahushua down in Yochanan. You're going to offer him up. This you is not the people in Devarim, the true seed, because it says, yet Yahuwah has not given you a heart to perceive. H3045, Yada means to know by experience. He's telling them they as a people are not going to experience this occurrence. Okay? They're not going to do that. He's not going to allow them to be a part in their own destruction. He's going to use it to goyim for that. However, chosen ones from among them, he will use to fulfill the requirements for the everlasting promise to Abraham. He has not given them the hearts to do the type of dastardly deeds being done down in Yochanan. Yahuwah is not going to let his people have a hand in destroying everlasting life set up for themselves because of promise. The goyim are going to be used for that down in Yochanan. You know, as I mentioned before, these are not the true people down in Yochanan. They're just filling in here. You shall offer up Aleph Tah, every teruma due to Yahuwah. A teruma is an offering, any offering to Yahuwah. Be grain, money, speaking, whatever. It is a contribution, something exalted and lifted up due to Yahuwah. As it reads, this teruma in the line is offered up. You shall offer, room here. H7311, this word for offer, means to lift up, to take away and be removed, to be taken off and abolished. All of this can be seen in the verse as the leaders, the chief Kohanim, and the ones who were overseeing the praises of Yahuwah. But the chief Kohanim plotted to put Eleazar to death also, and take him away too. Verse 11, because on account of him, many of the Yuta went away and believed in Yahushua. Yahushua is the Aleph Tah here, mark of the accusative. They already were determined to put him to death. We saw that in chapter 11, verse 53, the day they plotted to put him to death. Here, they're plotting to kill the works of Yahuwah as well by killing Eleazar again. So this is dastardly. Just because their people went away and believed in Yahushua. All of this is due to Yahuwah. It is a teruma to him. Yet Yahuwah has not given you, the people of promise, a heart to perceive. They did not even know what was going on as people. From all the best of them, the Midrash part of them, and eyes to see. The next day, a great multitude had come to the festival. When they had heard that Yahushua was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him. From all the best of them, these are the chosen ones called out to execute the promise from among the people over in Devarim concerning the adut. It was the best of them. This teruma is due to Yahuwah. It flows down through these verses. So the people in Devarim are not even going to see, eyes to see and understand what's going on down here in Yochanan. They're not going to be a part of that. Nevertheless, it's going to happen according to them, from all the best of them. This is seen in Yochanan as the next day a great multitude had come out to the festival when they heard that Yahushua was coming to Jerusalem. When they heard that he was coming to the teaching of peace, the final rest. They wanted to hear what he had to say, because if the teaching of the final peace or the everlasting rest is anything like what happened to Elazar, they all in. And I'm excited. Yeah, everybody's excited. I want to hear it and do everything he got to say. Leave everything else and follow him. He was coming to the festival. So this is big time here. He's being put on the world stage now. Yeah, it's big time here. All eyes are on the prize. This is what is called the Mikdash. The mark of the accusative is here. The Aleph Tau Mikdash part of them. It's the best part of them. The Aleph Tau Mikdash. The ones in Devarim who as a people didn't get to see this event, and the ones that did, this is the best of them. Yochanan, all those people there, these are coming to the festival here. Yahushua was part of them. The blind man, his family, all the ones that the word of Yahuwah pointed out that were going to be there. These are the players that are being used among the Goyim. This is the Mikdash part here. Mark of the accusative, as I mentioned, is on the Midrash. H4720 is the set apart place or something treated as set apart, dedicated and honored, separate and prepared as such. The root is Kadesh. H4642 means showing oneself as honored. This represents the set apart things they begin to do to Yahushua. He is the Aleph Tau, connected to the Mikdash. He himself is a set apart place. He is the building of Yahuwah, the Mikdash. This is beautiful how it plays out in Yochanan. When they took the branches of palm trees and went out to meet him. So this red carpet type treatment here, it's the best of them. Yeah, he's doing it up. Therefore you shall say to them, when you have lifted up the best of it, then the rest shall be accounted to the Leviim as the produce of the threshing floor. And ears to hear. So in Yochanan, they cried out, Yeshana. Baruch is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah, the King of Yisrael. Then Yahushua, when he had found a young donkey, sat on it, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Sion. Behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. Sitting on a donkey's colt. Okay, so as we survey these lines, therefore you shall say to them, at that top line there, again, the teruma continues to flow down from the very top line of survey. Up here, all the gifts, every teruma, all of this is flowing down. These people are not going to know about it, hear about it, see about it. Any of that stuff while it's going on. They will later on. Okay, therefore you shall say to them, again, the teruma continues to flow down from the very top line of survey. And them here are the original seed Moshe is speaking to in Devarim. They will not perceive in their heart, see with their eyes, or now have ears to hear the things that are now playing out down in Yochanan. Their Ben Yahushua, the best of them, has made it. Made it to the top. He big time now. This teruma that is being lifted up is because of what he is doing through them, or as a part of them. Therefore, you shall say to them, when you have lifted up the best, the mark of the accusative is here on the best of it. Is on the best, the choicest, the abundant part of it. It here, it is the teruma, the aleph tar part of it, the best part of it. This is seen in Yochanan, and what is spoken down in Yochanan when they cried out, Yashana, Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah. Blessed is he, or Baruch is he, who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Who comes in the name of Yahuwah, the King of Yisrael. This is Yahushua down below, fulfilling scripture, living it up, the best of it. As we continue to survey what Yahuwah is so beautifully orchestrating in the lines of the Midbar, it reads, then the rest shall be accounted here. That word is kashab, and it means to make a judgment, to think upon, to reckon, to consider and be mindful of. This is the thought that leads him to the action taken down below in Yochanan. He's mindful of it. It is accounted to the Liwayim. Liway means joined to something. This is what he did when he found the donkey. He sat on it, joined himself to it. He was mindful of the scriptures as it was written. The action taken is seen as the produce. Tabua. H8393 is income, revenue. It is figuratively used of wisdom and the product of the lips. The verb means to be brought in, to be introduced, to carry or lead in. The scriptures, the donkey, and of course the people all play a part in the produce. They lead him in with this chorus. Fear not, daughter of Sion. Behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. This is seen as the threshing floor. Something that is being sieved or sifted so as to separate the best part. The word is used in comparisons. The word as in the line there, where it says up in the midbar, accounted to the Liwayim as the produce of the threshing floor. As is used in comparisons to refer to the extent or degree of something. as the produce of the threshing floor. This scene is taking place like the winnowing or threshing floor, a place where the grain is gathered after being separated from the chaff or the husk. Goren, the word for threshing floor, is from an unused root meaning to smooth. So we're going to smooth over a few things here in the verse. This word in the Greek here was Hosanna. G5614. It's not what the people were saying at that time. The word is of Hebrew origin. It's made up of two words. Yasha, H3467, means to save, to be saved in battle, to give victory, and be saved from moral troubles. So this is earthly liberation. Yahushua did not come for the purpose of being an earthly king. We covered this very word in the orientation video, part 2, in detail. You can go there and see why this root is not associated with his name. The other word is Na. H4994. It's Na. It means I or we pray now, please. In other words, right now. It is used of entreaty or exhortation. Save now, please. It is also used to incite right now. They are trying to stir him up to run for king. What they were referring to is found in the great Hallel to Yahuwah. Okay, and this is noted in the footnotes. Okay, so we're going to look at the footnote here. It's the first one here. Save now, I pray, Yahuwah. Yahuwah, I pray, send now prosperity. Baruch is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. We have Barak you from the house of Yahuwah. We have caused you to kneel from the house of Yahuwah, to give honor and respect here. That's the footnote there. This is Tehillah 118, Psalms 118, and what is threshed out begins in verse 25 here. So I have verse 25 on the screen. And what is threshed out begins in verse 25. Top line there, save now, I pray Yahuwah. Yahuwah, I pray, send now prosperity. Okay. Yashana was threshed out of verse 25. And the rest of that exhortation was threshed out of verse 26. Okay. Save now, I pray Yahuwah. Yahuwah, I pray, send now prosperity. Okay. Baruch is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. This is the second verse. This is the second verse. And what was spoken in the line was threshed out of that. Because the whole verse reads, Baruch is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. We have Barak you from the house of Yahuwah. They didn't put the whole verse in there. They just threshed out a part of the verse. You see it down below here. It's a partial part of the verse that they just took out. It's threshed out. It's a separation on the threshing floor. They took out the best part and left the rest. He didn't put in, we have Barak you from the house of Yahuwah. They just put in this top part here. Same thing here. This whole verse here, they didn't say. They just used the part that says Yashana. Okay, so it was threshed out of there. Okay, and this is the other part that's being threshed out as well. It's found in Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Sion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you. He is just and having salvation, Yasha. Lowly and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. So the part quoted in verse 15 of Yochanan here was threshed out of it on the threshing floor. As it reads, fear not, daughter of Sion, behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. They just took parts of the verse. It was threshed out. The best parts of it. It's the threshing floor here. It was as the produce of the winepress. To this very day, his Lamudim did not understand these things at first, but when Yahushua was esteemed, then they remembered that these things were written about him and that they had done these things to him. Okay, so here's some more produce. Tabua is income, revenue. It is figuratively used of wisdom and the product of the lips. The verb means to be brought in, to be introduced, to carry or lead in. This is the produce of the winepress. H3342. Yakeb, that word for winepress, the root is from an unused word meaning to excavate. Excavate, meaning to remove earth carefully and systematically from an area in order to find buried remains, to reveal and extract it. And as the produce of the winepress, to this very day, is a continuance from the line above. Yahuwah is speaking still to his people in Devarim, who Moshe is witnessing to concerning these things that would befall the best of them. They as a people were not going to be given a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear to this very day. And the day arrives in Yochanan, and he records it. His Lamudim did not understand these things at first, but when Yahushua was esteemed, then they remembered that these things were written about him and that they had done these things to him. This is the produce of the extraction. You see it in the sentence. They dug it up. He taught them the things that Moshe was revealing in Devarim. They didn't understand it till way later. Amen. Still more things to be dug up. Still more things to be reckoned with. So stay tuned. Hold fast to what you have. Thank you so much for watching with us here at Sari. This is the good news of the kingdom, given to the world as an adut. Shahaya, like Shabuah told. Have a good week. Shabbat Shalom.